Lowe's new Valencia on Long Island, and how Mr. Turner staged its debut. The Exhibitor's Herald World, April 13, 1929. The late Marcus Lowe once said, while in a jocular mood at an exhibitor convention, that he did not know how many theaters he owned or controlled. He awoke each morning, he said, to find that his staff had bought this or that chain, or that a new theater had been opened in some strategic locality. Frankness, tempered by a flair for humor, made the late theater magnate beloved throughout the motion picture industry, and it is regrettable that he was not alive to see the opening of his new Valencia theater in Jamaica on Long Island. This new link in the worldwide chain of Lowe's theaters ranks as one of the most outstanding, an atmospheric house designed by John Eberson, Chicago and New York architect, and originator of this treatment in theater interiors. Spain, gay and colorful under a starlit sky, affords the architectural theme for the interior, although one finds in observing the scheme of design a certain Italian influence, which dovetails splendidly into the Spanish motif which predominates. In entering the grand lobby, one is impressed by the heavy beamwork of the ceiling, which tops walls lined with richly colored pilasters. Leading off the lobby is the grand stairway to the mezzanine. A veined marble has been used in the treads of this stairway, while the risers are of faience tile in effective design. Also rising from the lobby is a winding stair of marble leading to the mezzanine promenade, from the overhung balconies of which one obtains an enchanting view of the grand lobby, with its fountains and vegetation. Although the theater seats about 4,000 persons, the effect of coziness is not lost, due partially to the atmospheric motif perhaps, and to the soft coloring of the decorations. The men's room, women's parlor, cosmetic room, and check room, all handsomely decorated, are off the mezzanine promenade. The theater is built of heavily reinforced concrete supported on structural steel. It was erected at a cost of $2 million. Pictures and presentation will form the entertainment policy of the theater, which is managed by William K. Saxton. The stage band is under the direction of Walt Rosner, formerly at the New York Capitol. The symphony orchestra is being conducted by Don Albert, while at the console of the Robert Morton is John Gart. On weekdays, the admission prices will range from 25 to 60 cents. On Saturdays, 35 to 65 cents. And on Sundays and holidays, 50 to 65 cents. The opening of the Valencia in January under the supervision of Terry Turner brings into the discussion one of the most interesting personalities connected with the film theater, while Turner's methods in opening a new house are worthy of examination. Terry Turner, who is manager of advertising and publicity for Lowe's Incorporated, has opened 42 motion picture houses for Lowe's throughout the country. Consequently, by mere virtue of experience, he should know something about the advertising and the various kinds of ballyhoo that make for a good opening. He does. Stars always featured the opening of a theater while Marcus Lowe was alive. Today, the men who control the destinies of motion pictures cannot be so easily persuaded to part with their high-salaried attractions even for a short period, and for a purpose which will eventually benefit themselves as much as anyone else. So now it occasionally happens, according to Turner, that the advertising for an opening is obtained through different channels, and while not quite so bombastic as that furnished through the stars of the screen, it is nonetheless effective. Turner opened the Valencia in the following manner. His first move, to secure the right sort of a newspaper break, was to make a deal with a local paper with the largest ABC circulation to sell enough advertising for the paper to fill a certain section, which would be devoted to the big event. Turner's editorial copy, of course, was to be subject to the blue pencil of the regular editors. Then he went around to the contractor and got a full-page ad out of him. He applied the same system to the people who furnished the upholstery, the chairs, the hangings, the plumbing, the lighting, and the 1,001 other things that go toward the construction of a first-class house. When you've sold your press section, the job is about done. All that remains is the regular billboard advertising and a certain amount of newspaper copy, which of course should have been carried out sometime in advance. The thing to emphasize is the show that you are putting on. Don't waste time trying to tell the public how beautiful your house is. People won't go to a theater because they think a place is pretty. They'll find that out when they get there. But to get them there, you've got to sell them on the show. In Opening with Stars, Turner gets just as much, if not more, advertising, but he gets it in a different way. The negotiations with the leading paper, of course, do not vary. It always has to be the best and biggest paper, because the smaller ones, in self-defense, have to follow through and carry the story. Whereas, if he chooses a small paper, the big one can ignore the whole business and get away with it. The stars he uses as a lever to pry advertising from the pockets of conservative local retailers. And as a matter of fact, it is always money well spent. He has files jammed to the top with letters from advertisers, thanking him for the money they spent on what he sold them. "It is a pleasure to tell you how fully satisfied we are," wrote the owner of a shoe store who had never done any big advertising until he met Turner. "Opening a theater is not as hard as it is cracked up to be," says Turner. "You've got to be able to handle publicity, to think up ideas, and to sell advertising. I've opened 42, and it has been a different proposition with each one of them. A new theater usually represents an investment of over $1 million. And your leading townspeople are interested in it, and to put it over big, you should secure their cooperation. And that's about all there is to it if you don't count tremendous energy and lots of ambition."